Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you might be. It's awesome to be back on the show. It's awesome to have another great guest with us today to show you another cool app. And I hope you're enjoying these shows. We're inviting people trying to navigate this whole market of like AI change and so many new apps. I don't know if you remember, but like for me, like when I was still a student, like let's say a decade ago now, it was only like three apps you should know about. Like it was Revit, ArchiCAD, and maybe AutoCAD. And that was it. That was it. And then like Dynamo was like the new thing that was on the block. And now we have like thousands of apps to choose from, and you're like, okay, what do I even choose? What do I even do? So I think that's why we do this show, and I hope you're enjoying it. But any feedback, of course, just message me and email me. As a start, I just want to mention again our courses and our education offer. So as you might know, we have two courses right now, and we're building a third one where you can either learn about fundamentals we're discovering ANEC, or you can go and learn become like an AI expert, so to speak, within this industry with mastering AI and AC. This is our flagship course. We're launching it in mid-March, so you can get signed up for the waitlist right now. So it's going to be launched in mid-March, and it's going to teach you a lot of stuff about a lot of things. You can see here all of the modules and a lot of bonus content and so on. So we're just like redesigning it and checking it all and rebuilding it as we speak. But this is something I believe you should check out as well. And then if you're a company and you were like interested in like how do I even implement AI, we have like a lot of these B2B services of like helping you implement AI, through education, through full audits, through map out your workflows, and so on and so forth. So you can reach out to Stepan at AI and AC and learn more. With that said, let me get our guest on the screen. Jack, hi, nice to meet you, Jack.
Nice to meet you. Thank you guys so much. And for the record, I'm enjoying the show. So we'll start with that.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's okay. We have sorry, I just saw a comment from Patrick. Hi from cold Stockholm. You're also from cold. You said close to Toronto, Kingston.
Yeah, just outside of Toronto, about 2.5 hours in Kingston, Ontario. Yeah, it's nice and chilly here as well.
Yeah, I guess the whole world is pretty much, or like the whole northern hemisphere is freezing. Beside the west coast, it's weird because it's so warm here. So as we discussed, it's super warm. I was on the beach 2 days ago. It's crazy.
Must be nice.
Yeah, and only in the morning a hoodie, otherwise you can't breathe. So it's yeah. Anyways, hey man, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you. Like, who are you? Why are you relevant to come on the show?
Good question. Yeah, no, my name's Jack. I'm actually still in my undergrad. I'm in my fourth year of applied math and computer engineering at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. But kind of my heart, my passion's always lied in construction and kind of the built environment. I did internships at PCL, a general contractor, as well as at Dialogue, kind of a multidisciplinary engineering consulting firm. And these experiences really opened my mind, kind of combining with a mathematical computer degree. Kind of the mixture or combination of these two worlds is something I'm really passionate about, and excited for what we're building here at Cordax. Founder here, and I'm sure we'll jump more into that as well.
Yeah, I know we chatted now in the background a little bit about that, and how your dad is actually insisting that you finish up the course. I guess you have like a few months left.
Yeah.
Yes, but what about like how is it like being a founder and still at university? I mean, I know you have like a few months, so it's not that it's like a mixed schedule. I know how it is, like especially in your final year. Like you know the system, you can pass it, like, and so on. But how is that?
For sure. Yeah, no. So we kind of got things running, middle of the summer, this past summer. It kind of got to, the end of the summer, and it was that decision. Do I go back? Do I not? And ultimately kind of my dad helped make that decision, and it might as well finish up. You're already this close. So yeah, it's been busy to say the least, kind of a pretty heavy course load, as well as, hopping on amazing calls like this, and, meeting individuals in the industry every day has been awesome. So it's definitely busy, but nothing I'm not upset about.
Okay, so you're basically saying this call is taking away from study
100%.
time. Okay, yeah. Awesome, man. Hey, thank you for the honesty. I mean, no, I appreciate it. I think that it's awesome. It also shows what you can do with AI today. Like, I'm guessing you're building it with like a team, as you said,
Yeah.
and with AI tools. So it's like, well, what's possible to, you can still run the companies and study if you want. So yeah, no, I don't get me wrong. I really think it's awesome, man. I would love to be a student. Like, I would love if I could have had a business when I was a student. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the rest of the team's full time, so there's we've gotten used to this workflow, but I think they're excited for me to be done and stop having to balance so many things. But they're doing a great job holding down the fort. So yeah,
awesome. How big is the team?
It's around 5 right now. We have my co-founder Simon. Hopefully, he's watching on the call here. And we have our algorithm developer Mark, and then we have some advisors as well as some contract developers who've helped us out in the past. But that's the core team right now. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Tell us about Cordax, man. What is Cordax? What do you guys do? Why does it need to exist?
Yeah, definitely. So I think kind of through these experiences, working on kind of all commercial projects, with massive teams of engineers, saw how really coordinated everything is at the commercial level. It's amazing, but at what cost? You have full teams of engineers, hundreds of engineers working on the same project. So, and my co-founder Simon, his background is in the smaller scale kind of residential site. He grew up kind of working on these sites and kind of bridging the gap. When I kind of saw what was going on these sites, it was just a whole different ball game in terms of coordination. No Revit models, no pretty renderings. It was very kind of on the fly, guesswork, site walks, that sort of thing. So bringing that kind of commercial coordination to smaller scale projects for teams that don't have the budget, that don't have the engineering teams was really our goal. And some of my exploration while working was kind of automating some of this process. Really early days of Revit plugins. I know we're kind of still there, but automating some of these processes really just got my kind of mind turning. And why plug into Revit if we can do something externally as well for teams that might not have Revit, or it's not kind of the center point of their workflow. But yeah, so that's kind of the kind of thought process behind what we're building. We're targeting kind of this smaller scale market because it really was or is a hair on fire problem. They don't have the budgets to kind of accompany the commercial workflow. So providing with today's technology, kind of bridging the gap between kind of that budget team decrease in comparison to other firms was really our goal. So we're in our early days still. We were only a few months old, but we have started initial days with just kind of a ton of market research. Obviously, we're young. Probably don't know the space as well as some other people, but believe we do now. And so it was interviewing everyone we can: engineers, tradespeople, architects, and kind of anyone in between. And from that, we really got a good understanding of, okay, yeah, this is really a problem, and it doesn't really seem like there's any saving grace coming to help these firms as of yet. So kind of dialed in what a product would look like. Started building, and now we have a pretty significant product built out, but still kind of MVP early days. We're still closed. We've done demos with around 75 firms across North America. Got into their hands. Actually got some projects built. More on the way. Kind of navigating the permitting process and kind of taking to the next level is where we're at now. So I think we're at a pretty unique point where we've kind of come in tune to what kind of the market, let's say, is looking for, and what we can build and what we seek to build. So yeah, that's super high level, kind of early days and where we're at now. But yeah, happy to jump in anywhere there.
Yeah, let's continue, man. Let's just keep at it. Can you tell us that was high level how you got started, where you are now? But what is Cordax and what problem does it solve? And do you want me to share your screen as well, or?
Yeah, I could talk for a bit longer, and then we'll hop
Sure,
into.
you tell me. Just tell me when you're ready. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, like from our kind of market research, it was really like this small to medium scale kind of construction industry really makes up the majority of construction. If you look at firms strictly by a quantity, not looking at revenue or project size or anything, strictly at a quantity kind of aspect, these firms make up anywhere from 90 to 95% of the market. There's hundreds, thousands of firms in just North America alone, and they were kind of really left without a better solution. And interviewing these individuals, sitting down with them, going to their sites, like it was really some of them firms that are doing 1,000 projects a year are still using pen and paper to do this, and like not even an exaggeration. Like they would show us, this is like from our last project, like it was legitimately like Sharpies and highlighters, and kind of you can see different handwriting. People have pitched in on it. And
exactly. Just to clarify, is it? Yeah. Are you thinking of small firms, of construction firms, or?
Yeah. This was like this specific example was an installation firm, like a Canadian installation firm, so doing HVAC and plumbing, but on fairly like projects you would assume would have some sort of tech stack to back it, but nope. This is still smaller scale, but surprisingly not. So that really was kind of our inspiration for all of this. But so I mean, we found out that kind of roughly 85% of firms in this industry were using like pen and paper, or just like kind of a basic AutoCAD drawing, or printing it out as like a static 2D PDF that would just kind of sit on a project site. And people would glare at it every once in a while. Exaggerating a little bit, but those stats were really what we extrapolated kind of from all these conversations. So that got us thinking, what is kind of the universal kind of starting point for these projects. And it was a 2D architectural plan that they'd build off. It would be a rough floor plan. There wasn't necessarily any MEP in it. It was just kind of basic diagram they'd have on site of architecturally what it's going to look like, where fixtures are. So we decided to start from there. So the users input a 2D architectural plan into the software, and from there they can specify different project parameters, where their diffusers are, kind of where the mechanical room is, pot lights, that sort of thing, and from there be able to through our kind of proprietary routing algorithm design these systems for their project in kind of a matter of minutes. So right now we started mostly kind of entirely schematically. So it was how to find the most optimal route from A to B for all these systems, and that was kind of a value add in itself, cutting down at material use and that sort of thing, roughly saving 5 to 15% on material use alone, just finding kind of the most optimal route for some of these systems. But we still have a long way to go in terms of integrating load calculations, and obviously kind of the permitting aspect of F280, manual J, that sort of thing, for these kind of scale projects. And that's kind of our next step here. So that's kind of the problem we're addressing, and how we're addressing it. And from these kind of 2D and 3D outputs that are software outputs, it's all web accessible. So we're kind of an in-browser software that runs on the cloud, not necessarily on your device. And from there you can share different parties on site, your electrician, your HVAC specialist, project manager, that sort of thing, view it on an iPad, view it on a computer, view it on a phone, whatever is most accessible, print them off, and kind of use those to guide the construction process, revisions, that sort of thing.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, no, it seems like you really did your research, man. It seems like you understand. You said you're young, but I think you understand more of the industry than many people in the industry.
I don't know. We get we can still get kind of the odd critique and individual who doesn't like our approach, and you guys are doing it wrong, that sort of thing. But I guess that kind of motivates us a little bit more.
And it's like I mean, my whole again, I mentioned my B2B service earlier, but like I also see some cases. I've seen cases where like 10 people or like a 15 person company have all the newest technology and they're using everything the best. And I've seen cases of like 250-person company doesn't even use Microsoft Teams, or like I don't even know how they call each other. So it's weird. Like you really have different stuff. Most people are like lacking something within technology, so that's why I guess people are even joining our show here. So
yeah, for sure. And I mean, ultimately, we have plans to kind of scale to larger projects, but this is where we're starting because we thought it was kind of the most realistic, and historically, all kind of construction tech softwares that come down the pipeline, whether they're AI or historical softwares, always target commercial first, bigger margins, bigger budgets, that sort of thing, which kind of makes sense. But kind of thought to approach it in a different way, which we were quite passionate about. So yeah.
Okay. So trying to put it into a single sentence.
Yeah.
If I understand it correctly, Cordax is an app that helps MEP contractors navigate or like solve their and map out their issues on drawings easier in an easier way.
For sure. Yeah, it does, the initial design work. So kind of the automation of kind of the initial design work, as well as through to, the construction phase as well, where, something changes, they can update on kind of one central plan, which, we kind of found was the missing piece in a lot of these projects. There was no, central document, like say a Revit model, for example. But that's a good way to sum it up.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yes. You want to go ahead with the...
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
So this is just our landing page. Like I mentioned, everything is in our software directly. So www.cordax.io. If anyone is interested, feel free to request access. We're having kind of early pilots with kind of firms, across North America, as well as some interest from other parts of the world. But yeah, just hop in there, and I'm logged in already, so it would be a quick login, sign up. I'll hop into a project here. This is your dashboard. You just have your multiple projects, and here you can share the project with individuals on your specific project. Different firms, that sort of thing. So this is what our software opens up to. So this is a pre-populated plan that I have just for the sake of time on this call. So this is a lovely home out of British Columbia from one of our pilot partners, Bellamy Homes. This is so anything you see here, kind of the dark annotations, like the solid lines, those are exterior walls, this sort of thing. So this was something you would populate manually, just kind of initial document setup, set your scale. This is soon to be automated by our software through a computer vision model that would kind of pick up some of these features, kind of just to save a little bit of time. But yeah, it's a little bit manual. Place exterior walls, interior walls, specify kind of your joist layout, and kind of joist separation, that sort of thing. Soon to integrate kind of our individual projects as kind of structural parameters as well. So integrating a structural set into Cordax is kind of the next step on our journey. So then it comes through to placing specific features. So these are pot lights here, these kind of orange individual kind of circles here. And we specify kind of bulkhead zones. This is where this purple line is here. So where you want to drop ceiling, how big it's going to be, and this is kind of all editable as well. Specifying kind of where some of the systems are coming from, where your mechanical room is going to be, where you want to stack. So this would be a vertical stack running upwards, as well as restricted zones. So this would be something that's specified. Got a stairwell here. Obviously, you don't want anything running through there directly. And so, yeah, this is, again, pre-populated. So these are kind of diffusers, like ceiling diffuser, and then specifying, different zones on which kind of air handling unit's going to handle what, as well as, where you want water, hot, cold, that sort of thing. I'll kind of save this part. This is kind of the not so fun part. But then, so this is going to generate. So based on, what the user has specified, where things are going, where systems are coming from, the system, graphs kind of through a 3D graphing algorithm that analyzes for, the most efficient route, but also maintaining kind of, the buildability of it. Systems aren't clashing, systems are, running where they're supposed to, in the sense, are they running between a joist cavity? are they not? Are they a drop ceiling? As well, you know, kind of our temporary kind of solution for structural parameters. You know, you got a beam running through your living room. You know, specify a restricted zone to kind of run around that. But yeah, you know, this is kind of what we have so far. So this will hopefully generate in a second. But yeah, no.
While we are waiting for that,
Yeah.
I would love to take it a step slower. I
Yeah,
understand.
sorry, I speak a little fast sometimes.
No. It's not about that, man. It's like you. I know it's your app, and you know it well, but I'm just like, I think me and a bunch of other people are like, everybody here is seeing it.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see the comments.
No, I want to take it a bit slower in a way. Okay, what's happening here? So you have opened up Cordax. You said if you're an MEP contractor, and you need help with reviewing your drawings and managing issues and so on, right?
Yeah.
You reach out. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get access to Cordax, or like you make a deal, whatever, whatever the situation is. But then in your setup, what do you do in your setup? You just like upload drawings, or you?
Yeah. So the way Cordax would work is, you know, it's kind of a monthly, say, subscription. So you have access to this software yourself. So this would be kind of, you know, your dashboard here. Like this would be all, you know, your individual projects. And here you could share these with different teams. So you have, you know, this is just a random address, but you could share this with, you know, the general contractor, the electrician, the HVAC firm, whoever is, you know, doing some of the installation. If you have any consultants on it, they would all have access to, say, you know, this one central platform. And so individual teams would be responsible for, you know, their individual kind of systems. So like the HVAC team, for example, would, you know, place kind of route systems where they think is most efficient, whether it's, you know, Cordax's algorithm figuring out what's the most optimal route, or, you know, if they want to move things around because, you know, they don't think it'll be buildable on site for whatever reason, you know, that is kind of all held in one place. So HVAC, plumbing, electrical is kind of where we started initially. So individual firms would be responsible kind of for their, you know, individual, you know, trades. So this would be, you know, you place kind of your fixtures here where things are coming from. And, you know, this would be taken again, step by step by each term, by each team, sorry. And, you know, from there, once, you know, you're kind of happy with the design, you know, this can be generated. You can see the routes, and then also you can, you know, move systems around if there's a conflict, or, you know, something decides to change from kind of, you know, any documents provided by the team, as well as, you know, if there's a change order or kind of a RFI or whatever it may be from any team here. So there'll kind of be, you know, a revision history of, you know, okay, this is the proposed design to change from X party, and kind of, you know, tracked in one place. So yeah, I know. And it kind of does that, you know, fill in the gaps a little bit?
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
So it's essentially you can collaborate on drawings.
Yeah.
When you're doing these different things, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. Yeah. And what can the app do for you? So what can it do for you? What can it alleviate? Like, is it to find issues? Is it to like design where the pipes should go, where the electrical you know, outlets should go, or how does it work?
For sure, yeah. So once, you know, all the kind of fixtures are placed by the individual teams, so the software does the routing automatically. So, you know, it's taking into consideration where.
So you place the fixture. Okay, I understand now. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So it, you know, you place kind of the supply, you know, where things are going, and Cordax will find the most optimal route for these systems to work in harmony. So, you know, the shortest amount of conduit used, or kind of the shortest amount of duct is used for, you know, these kind of systems working intertwined. And at the same point, you know, if something won't work, if there's a clash, if there's, you know, systems are too close to each other, or for whatever reason, you know, you can't necessarily reach a diffuser, for example, that will flag and say, you know, hey, there's a conflict here. This needs to be addressed. Should have put a conflict in this example diagram, but all good. Yeah, no, and kind of the next layer for us is, you know, integrating some kind of, you know, geography specific building codes on top of this. So, you know, there's some kind of hard-coded parameters in the algorithm now, but on top of that is, you know, basically cross-referencing with, you know, national building codes, that sort of thing, to design with, you know, kind of the most accuracy here, and kind of obviously not our goal is not to replace engineers or that sort of thing. It's just provide them the most efficient starting point to kind of build off of, because obviously when you get to permitting and things like that, like obviously there has to be a human in the loop to kind of validate what's proposed. It can't just be, I mean, maybe not yet. It can't be just a computer spitting out a proposed solution. So yeah, and then hopping back into the software. So yeah, like you said, finding kind of the optimal routes for these systems, kind of keeping track of everything in one place, kind of being a ground truth for some of these projects that might not necessarily have it, as well as saving time kind of on the design aspect of things. Yeah, is there anything else you want me to touch on there?
Yes. So just again, I'm sorry if I'm going back to the understanding. I just
No, all good.
I want to have. I think that what's important is clarity.
Yeah.
So is it then similar to Augmenta or Endra we had on the show before? Do you know about those tools?
Yeah, no, definitely familiar. Yeah, I think from my research, it's a little bit more targeted towards larger scale projects in a sense. We're kind of providing a unique kind of optimality of our solution. So it's cross-referencing again building codes with kind of that mathematical shortest distance kind of standpoint, as well as building out kind of the ability to bring this on site, print out a drawing set, have it in a 2D or 3D kind of visual to actually build on site. Because some of the initial conversations we had were some of these firms you're struggling with kind of the say lack of skilled trades, or kind of the reduction of skilled trades in this day and age, like the trade shortage individuals are speaking of. So being able to get a junior laborer on site with a 2D or 3D kind of diagram, it almost fills in like we like to use like the Lego set analogy, like it should be everything kind of coordinated in one spot for these systems to be designed. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. And what about 3D?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this is a 2D kind of just layout here. Like kind of typical to what you'd see on most projects on kind of the larger end, who are designed by an engineer. So from this 2D, we get we build out a 3D model of these systems. So some of these features need to be specified specifically. Like kind of ceiling height, that sort of thing, as well. So these systems are kind of visual or visible, all kind of in a 3D sense here. And obviously, if you're just designing HVAC, we just kind of have simple toggles here to toggle off whatever you don't necessarily want to see, to be trade specific. So yeah, this is like ideally what we see. Obviously, kind of a little bit further down the line, as detail increases, bringing a 3D model on site instead of necessarily just a 2D. I know some individuals like 3D, some don't, but we found, from kind of the younger generation of trades and project managers, if they can see it in 3D, like why would you not, sort of thing. So that's kind of what we are envisioning, kind of the future of this kind of small scale construction, medium-sized construction to look like, not just like a luxury that commercial projects have. So yeah, so I mean, from here we have our 3D model. Right now, this is to kind of see all systems in one place, to actually be buildable, as well. We have kind of our like material takeoff like kind of system as well. It's kind of integrated in our kind of code already. So providing a bill of materials is not the most difficult for us right now, which I can hop into. So this is just like a basic takeoff, obviously requiring a little bit more detail as we go on. But yeah, no, these are kind of your individual trades, what you need, from kind of a takeoff standpoint. As well, like so right now we're specifying these firms would kind of choose the sizing of this equipment fairly manually for now. This is again our kind of MVP kind of prototype of our software, but ideally integrating load calculations and cross-referencing with building codes some of these systems would be able to be sized more accurately, and obviously in turn, the takeoffs being accurate. Kind of, can I jump in anywhere else?
Man, I think this is amazing. Now when I finally understood it. I'm sorry if I was slow.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that I fully understand
Yeah.
like what's the edge. But in my opinion,
Yeah.
so you're saying that the fixtures, so all of these, like, let's say, I don't know how you call them, but all of the machines and the fixture that need to be somewhere are going to be placed somewhere anyway, because you have those shafts, you have those rooms that are planned anyway by the architect as well. The problem appears on coordinating all the pathways of like, hey, here are the pipes, here are the whatever they're called, cable trays, and so on. So you're saying that software also helps with putting those in place, right?
Yeah. So like that's kind of what I did at the start here. Like when I was just a blank document without all kind of this ductwork going. That was just placing kind of the individual features, and when I hit generate and we were waiting for that, that was our software basically figuring out, okay, everything's coming from here and here, and it needs to get to all these individual places. So basically testing all different paths to make these kind of systems work in harmony was what was actually happening there when it was loading. But typically that's kind of days or weeks of manual kind of not trial and error, but just kind of grunt work. I've been there fixing people's Revit models. It's not necessarily the most enjoyable, and definitely I think a bit of a pain point in the industry. You kind of engineers want to be able to do their engineering due diligence, not necessarily figure out deal with kind of the back end of you make one adjustment and you got to reroute everything else. So yeah, that's
how correct is it though?
How correct is it?
Yeah.
Like from a buildable standpoint or from a...
Yes. So, I mean, do you need to go through every junction? Do you need to go through every connection? Do you need to go is it just like as we see in 2D, is it just to give you an overall idea of how things could work together? But then you need to make sure you order the right things, you install the right things, or...
Yeah. So for right now, obviously, it is mathematically correct. It needs to take in more parameters to be 100% accurate to kind of a one-to-one or as build model. So obviously no, we can't guarantee 100% accuracy yet, but obviously early days. But ultimately that is our goal. Include structural, include kind of any other building parameters that our software needs to take into consideration to be kind of that one-to-one. Okay, walk in on site with these plans. And sooner or later things should be accurate down to kind of the centimeter or millimeter of actual buildability. So this
is great, man. Does it come in metric too? I only see feet and inches.
Yeah. So that was just kind of the basic. This was actually from the architectural that you got from one of our clients, but yeah, no, we'll transfer over to metric. As of now, no, it actually doesn't. But yeah.
Okay, cool. We have a couple of questions from the audience. I think this was in the beginning, so maybe Tim is asking, will Cordax model the existing conditions before adding new work?
You mean in the sense of a renovation?
I guess so, yes.
Yeah, we have, right now we haven't been, extremely focused on the renovation aspect of construction, just because, for us, it's easier to start with, a model that is accurate to, what is actually going on. Obviously, if you have an as-built that's, not 100% accurate, it, kind of has a bit of a ripple effect in that, our software might not necessarily, if you're giving it incorrect information, it's not necessarily gonna be correct. But the ability to import a Revit model is something we've had a lot of interest about for some of the projects that are getting that, which is on our horizon as well. So if that answers your question, yeah. But renovations and kind of that sort of thing weren't necessarily our focus in the early days, at least.
Yes. All right. We have, again, there's probably some issue with LinkedIn connection, but it says, how does Cordax navigate the bulkhead's structural penetrations?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we're addressing this through, the use of restricted zones. So it's basically manually saying, do you have a structural element that you cannot puncture? Here we go. This is, kind of where it lies exactly. Obviously, we want to be able to differentiate down the road, what has the ability to be punctured and what doesn't. So right now it's through the use of kind of, restricted zones. Systems can't run through specific areas. And so that, in a 3D sense, like nothing will route through this restricted zone set at, kind of a 3D, say, box, for example. But yeah, for right now, like this is kind of where bulkheads are specified. This kind of purple box here is a supply, and this gray is here. So, you're running cross joists and you need to drop the ceiling down. That's how we're addressing it right now. Obviously, being able to integrate structural is important for the accuracy of our software, and kind of the next step for us.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Zach is asking, will this export to Revit?
Yeah, so it will be able to. As of now, we just have our 2D export feature here. So this is just 2D plans. Bringing this model into Revit, isn't necessarily the most difficult for us right now. Just obviously navigating families and that sort of thing is kind of some of the kinks we're ironing out. But eventually, yeah, yes.
Okay. Yes, very cool, man. And you said, did you start, like, don't get me wrong, did you start monetizing this? Did you start like onboarding clients who are paying clients and like you're building with them, or you're still like so early that you're only looking for a few companies, design partners, we're building, like, what's your status there?
Yeah, honestly, before we even, thought about monetization, it was like, okay, like, let's get this in the hands of some people. Is this something people are going to even, pay for? So ultimately we decided yes, but, as through the demo, there's obviously some, we have a lot that we want to do, and choosing when to, charge our full fee for monetization is kind of up to us. We started early days. We had some paid pilots, that sort of thing, kind of paying access, a pretty small fee to get access to the software. But now we're really kind of at a point where we're looking for partnerships in the industry, kind of big brother sort of dynamic between firms to we need a lot of help from a mechanical, electrical sense of integrating with building codes and that sort of thing. We're obviously kind of more I don't want to say math nerds and computer nerds, but obviously we need some more engineering expertise in the sense of being buildable. What is kind of the workflow of kind of some of these parameters, as well as obviously we're kind of approaching or in the midst of a fundraising round now to kind of help us take this to the next level. So in short, to answer your question, it's right now kind of a request access, kind of one-to-one demo. Obviously we want to build some relationships in this space with firms who are interested in what we're building, and that's kind of what we've been doing. But soon, kind of down the road, to launch publicly and serve through like kind of a monetization through like a per seat license, if that makes sense.
Okay, awesome, thank you. What about any scale limitations? Is this software best for smaller firms up to, I don't know, 300 people in size, or is it any firm size that even 30,000 people? Well, a huge project. Like, what is do you have like your kind of ICP group?
For sure, yeah. So we've been targeting a lot of the projects we've been working on have been single family homes, an airplane hangar, for example, smaller kind of commercial, like the smaller shopping centers, that sort of thing, kind of different size dwellings. But yeah, so in terms of ICP, it's kind of that level scale of project, like anywhere from 0 to kind of 10,000 square feet is what we're looking at now. But obviously the more complex the systems get, the more parameters you have, you have subfloor heating, that sort of thing. Picking up on all these different parameters are just obviously with time we'll be able to get there. But yeah, no, so the interest from clients has been definitely a range. We've had kind of large commercial builders who are knocking at the door saying, hey, what are you guys up to? And obviously we're not there yet to be able to handle a massive commercial project, just in terms of kind of the ability for our software to graph kind of at that scale. But yeah, no, a lot of home builders who have been interested, even home builders who have, say, in-house teams, which is like a little bit, rare when they're taking it from buy a plot of land through to, kind of handover, and everything in between that's kind of, been really interesting for them because they can have everything kind of in house. And different engineering firms, that sort of thing, because a lot of them just don't necessarily like the initial kind of planning of these kind of systems. It's the boring grunt work that goes into this industry. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you're mentioning that it's code, like I would say code approved, or like it's after the code. Which code? How does that work? Is it only for Canada? Is it for the US? Is it
for sure?
Yeah,
no. So it's not like, obviously, I don't think anyone will be able to guarantee 100% code compliance for a while, but being aware of building codes is what we want to do, because obviously we deliver a model that's not the most accurate. People can pick out flaws. It doesn't serve a whole lot of a purpose. But cross-referencing Canadian National Building Code, and then as well as US standard building codes is kind of ours for like these smaller size projects, so not necessarily falling in the commercial building codes just yet. But cross-referencing the proposed design solution, kind of what you see here, to building codes, and you're kind of flagging different kind of errors in between is the next step for us. But yeah, no, very basic hard-coded parameters are integrated already, but nothing that we can guarantee is 100% code compliant.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand, and everybody who understands how AI works, they understand that it can never be. It's not this, like, people expect it to be 100% correct, but it's like, I'm like, it's not that type of technology, and that's why it's amazing. That's the beauty of it.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'll just throw like a little bit of a differentiator here. So like everything you see here right now isn't AI. Like, so none of this is okay. I know that kind of goes against the name of the show, but
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Well, what is it? Like, tell us, teach us.
Yeah, no. So it's basically kind of developed by our team is strictly from a routing standpoint. So basically like optimal graphing in 3D. But kind of the next layer we want to include is an AI layer to cross-reference building code. So this is something that won't necessarily hallucinate, as we hear large in the AI space. Models.
See, so I was ahead of the game, man. I was by inviting you here, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, so we wanted to have the base kind of routing, not AI, just to kind of avoid that kind of hallucination, untrustworthy kind of proposals of designs. So being able to integrate that AI layer on top of this, so at least the base routing will always be correct without a hallucination on top of that.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's our goal.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Tim, one of my favorite audience members, Tim. Hey, good to see you. If Cordax can read existing 2D drawings, it would also be interesting to see if it could create a composite set of existing conditions from, say, 5 different renovation sets and understood by the existing. Ultimately, the only way to know your existing system or look at it is to do the LiDAR scanning.
Yeah. Yes. So if kind of down the road, I mean, for right now, Cordax won't necessarily be able to handle existing kind of systems. If those systems were kind of proposed on a 2D plan, and you were able to integrate them into the software, then like we could in a sense, but being able to create a composite right now kind of isn't our number one plan, because the most kind of interest we've seen even from just early discussions is really new builds, how to design these systems most efficiently for those kind of projects, but down the line, most likely, to answer your question, no, it's not a solid answer, but yeah.
Okay, that's great, man. Let me see here. Protection of client data. Do you train anything? I mean, you said you don't even use AI so much, so it's.
Yeah, no. So I mean, client data is totally private to the client now. We don't train any models on client data. If we ever were to, obviously there would have to be a very clear agreement of that sort of thing, because down the road it could be helpful for us to compare also as built conditions to a proposed design solution, and kind of training a model that way. But no, for the most part, I mean, for now entirely, no, all information is proprietary to the client, and it intends to stay that way. So yeah.
All right. And why should anyone work with you and not with your competitors?
That's a good question. I mean, we believe, we have kind of the most, straightforward, easy to use solution kind of out there. Obviously, we're in the early days and have a little bit of ways to go in terms of being buildable. But we've really understood kind of the workflow for individuals in this space, as well as integrating with parameters that are actually buildable, not just kind of a pretty solution on paper, is our goal. And if you can cut the design time into minutes, kind of like you just saw when we were waiting. I know it's frustrating, but if it was compared to an engineering team, how long would that take? For a smaller project like this, probably not too long, maybe a day or two. But as things get more complex, as well as making sure it's code compliant and all the load calcs that go into it, and that sort of thing, down the road, being able to do that in a matter of minutes is definitely our differentiator.
All right, fair enough. What about I love asking these questions. That's why I run the show, man. It's like yeah. No, because like you need to be the thing about I think business is like you need clarity. Like who do you help? How do you why you're different, because otherwise we're risking it like opening another cafe. Like everybody has a cafe.
100%.
Right? Or like, but why is your cafe different? So don't get me wrong. Yes, and you got another probably another tester here. Humberto is saying looking forward to getting familiar with your software.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yes. I love your LinkedIn image, Humberto. This is very cool. Yeah, I've never seen something like this. Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Financial runway. You said you're bootstrapped, but you're raising funds right now. What's the situation there?
Yeah. So we've been fortunate to win some kind of grants, funding, all very small, from university, government of Ottawa, which have been great, but those don't necessarily move the needle in terms of the hiring process, that sort of thing. So yeah, we are raising our pre-seed round right now, which we're extremely happy about. This is kind of a very, very recent kind of launch. We've built some pretty good relationships with our clients who we've got some early checks in from clients, home builders, who want to kind of see this thing play out and believe in the team, which is great to see. So kind of along this fundraising journey, we're looking for help from anyone from large scale builders, kind of angel investors in the space, that sort of thing. Anyone and everyone in between. Anyone who's kind of passionate about the idea, we're obviously interested in building relationships with. So yeah, in terms of financial runway, we are all young people, fresh out of university or still in university, and it's really been founder capital, as they say, for the most part. So yeah, in terms of runway, I mean, kind of for as quickly as we can close this fundraising round for the most part. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a deadline, but obviously we're trying to look to close this round kind of as soon as possible in the next few weeks, so or months. But yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, Humberto is just reacting the electrical PE, and thank you, Humberto, for coming on the show, man, and asking your question. Jack, listen. Is there anything else you want to show us, or just answer a few more questions I have?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. That was kind of a brief overview. Obviously, if anyone wants a more in-depth kind of analysis on how things work without kind of giving away our bread and butter, obviously please reach out to me and or anyone from the team, and we're happy to start a conversation. And yeah, we again, we're young, so we appreciate all advice from kind of anyone in the space who's interested in what we're doing. So yeah, no, that's everything from my end in terms of a software demo. But yeah, any questions? Happy to.
I have 3 quick questions. So
yeah.
Let's just take them. A roadmap. What is next for Cordax, for you, besides graduating?
Yeah. No, graduation's next couple months, so yeah, that's great. But no, roadmap, I touched on it a little bit through the demo. Obviously integrating our structural parameters, so being able to take in a structural set, which in this space aren't necessarily one standard form. Sometimes they're getting kind of a isometric structural kind of truss diagram or that sort of thing, or they're getting kind of 2D plan with kind of highlights on where these beams go. And so integrating that in kind of an all-encompassing fashion is our goal, as well. Kind of the note I mentioned about kind of the AI cross-referencing layer with building codes is on our horizon for sure. So those are kind of the two main ones. Obviously, we kind of get interest from clients all the time. Can you build this feature out? Like, can you do this? But that's kind of our focus now. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And I have this question. Okay, let me, because typically I ask like people who come on the show, what are their proudest stuff, so far in their journey?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to comment on that? I mean, I
Yeah.
also have a different question for you, but it's just go ahead, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously we're fairly new in the space, so I think we're proud of a lot, but obviously there's still a long way to go. We recently had our first project kind of permitted and actually built, which was awesome. Now working on kind of the next as well. Seeing kind of interest from some of the industry giants in the space has been really amazing for me. Like almost kind of fanboying out at some points, but yeah, no, there's been a lot of wins, but I think those were some of the big ones and a lot of losses as well. But we'll focus on the wins.
Okay, but tell me then one final thing.
Yeah.
What excites you to build this? Like, why? What's your why? Like, do you just like what's exciting for you that you're looking for? I wish that the software could do that. And like, what's that for you?
Yeah, for sure. I guess from work experience, it was initially why are all these individuals in this room working on the same thing that from my perspective shouldn't necessarily be that difficult from the most part. Obviously, kind of the scale of this industry is magnificent, and I really enjoy kind of solving complex problems, as well as individuals in the space who kind of might not necessarily share the same sort of passion, who say you kids, like, you're never going to do this. Like, why would you try and reinvent this? Obviously throws some more fuel on the fire for me personally. But yeah, no, I think it also, ultimately comes down to, especially, getting out in the industry, talking to all these individuals in the space, really hearing their pain point. Like, kind of really early days, it was, one specific phone call and someone was just like, dude, like, you got to give this to me now. And from that, it was, that was, almost even first few days of, individual, like, industry conversations. And since that, we've had, countless of individuals in the space say the same thing. Like, we can't do this anymore. Things are getting more complicated. I don't know how to, integrate a EV charger in this project. So like, I need a solution for it. As kind of, structures are getting a little bit more complex, not necessarily just kind of a textbook solution. So yeah, building for the individuals we talk to every day is ultimately what keeps us going. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Hey, I loved having you on the show. Thank you so much. I love the energy. I love the focus. You seem like a guy who doesn't waste his time at all. That's awesome to hear.
Awesome. Yeah, no, really appreciate everything you're doing at AI and AEC, and it's amazing to be on the show. So yeah, thank you again for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to maybe having you again in, like, let's say a year or something. Probably like, oh, we can now do this and we can do that and so on. Then
sure.
Don't get me wrong. I think this is amazing. I think the software is amazing, because I just know of so many people that would like, maybe this, as you said, the other solutions we mentioned could be a bit too expensive for them. I'm not saying like I don't know the exact pricing of the other ones, but I'm like, maybe it's a bit too big of a scale or only for some people. But this is like, it seems that it's for the majority of the small, up to 300 people firms, and that's the majority of the AC as far as I know in the world. So yeah, I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for the support, and look forward to connect with anyone who's interested in chatting. So yeah.
All right. So guys in the audience, Cordax.io is the website. Jack, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you. I'm gonna put you now in the background. You can also sign off. Listen, good luck with your graduation. I'm pretty sure you're gonna kick ass there.
Thank
you. Then yeah, good luck with also building this. I'm looking forward to seeing more updates from you guys. And yeah, I think what you have here is something real and something really useful. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And thank you so much again for having me.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for being on the show. Yes, for everybody else, that was a bit of a quicker demo, but I think that's also awesome. If you, of course, know, please go check out the courses we have on AIinAC.com. because tomorrow I'm actually gonna have the longest flight of my life. I'm going for 16 hours straight from LAX to Dubai, and then it's Abu Dhabi. I have an event there, so I'll be away for the next couple of weeks to Abu Dhabi and then to Belgrade to help some clients with some AI implementation. But then when I come back, we're going to have 2 shows in that week, most likely, and 2 shows the week after. So we're going to be posting about those demo days. We have some really cool, exciting apps to come. So I really can, and they're going to be in different time zones because some of them are in Australia, actually. So maybe you don't make it live, but maybe you can make it on the recording after. But you're going to be updated on everything as soon as we make those posts. And again, in about a month, probably a bit longer, maybe 5-6 weeks, we're going to be launching Mastering ANAC. So make sure to join. Anyways, guys, it was a pleasure to host this show, and have a great day, and talk to you at some point soon. Bye-bye.